so sorry, Chads. It's the same thing that I keep complaining about. My computer has horrific bit 24 deficiency, and every time I unplug something, or even if I don't unplug it, if I just like breathe next to the USB, it all gets fucked up. And sometimes it gets so fucked up that I need to restart the computer. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. So I hope you can hear me. You can, that's good. So the mic didn't get fucked up, but the camera did. Next time I'm just gonna go live without the camera. You're gonna enjoy it immensely. Not watching this, just listening. Anyways, we have gathered, the mic survived the bit 24 deficiency, but the other stuff absolutely died. We were able to give it some salmon and some eggs, and it came and it got rejuvenated. So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, on the replay, I'm going to make the horizontal stream available, but right now it's running unlisted because I know some people like really don't enjoy watching the vertical stream, but I need you to watch the vertical stream now as we are live because when I split them up, both fail. So there we go. That's what we're doing. Hello, Pia. Hello, Louis. Neil Smith, how you doing? Vegan Gage, hello. Louis is here. Oh, I mentioned you already. Tone, what's up? Brett is here. Hello, hello, hello. And Benji, Martin, Kevin, and Meow Gang is also present. Everybody's awesome. Most of those people are playing the prediction game and winning big bucks. Brett is on 300 points so far. Every prediction Brett ever made was spot on. And yeah, I think everybody should play the prediction game. It's incredible fun. Anyways, we are gathered here to talk about myth propaganda. Sorry. I get flustered every time I'm late on, to the stream. But I don't know. It's just annoying that this happens. You know what I mean? Give me a sec. Oh, yeah, there you go. Now I can see the scrolling thingy. All right. So we are talking about the bits and bolts, the misinfluencers. We went through the first line of defense, the Sean Bakers, the Nina Teicholz, and the Frederick Leroy's of the gang, the most successful ones. And now we're going one by one, looking. I think this is the bit where we're talking about the journalists. Yes, the journalists and the authors, of which Nina Teicholz is the biggest shill leader. And then we talked about Joanna Blythman last time. And now we're talking about Louise Stephan. Hello, Louise. What the fuck are you doing and why are you doing it? You meet shill? Well, let's find out. So Louise is Louise Stephan 9. I guess there were like 8 Louise Stephans before she got on social media. Delicious barley coffee. So Louise Stephan is a former corporate strategy consultant. We need to veganize one of those people. One of those people who are like good at getting info out there. You know what I mean? I've been trying to make vegan gays veganize some millionaires because we need fucking funding. If you know a millionaire, bring them here. We'll debate them and we'll make them give us all of their money. Anyways, so this Louise Stephan, Stephen, I guess, this is red, is a former corporate strategy consultant with firms like KPMG and PwC. Not familiar, I guess it's just like the names of rich people who face an autoimmune illness in her 30s. Oh, that's unfortunate. Which caused renal failure. Oh shit, and led her to need a kidney transplant. This led her to write a book, Eating Yourselves Sick. Obviously, something that you ate is the thing that is the culprit. Not genetics, Not, I don't know, alcoholism. None of that. Not just like pure lack of luck. No, it must be the carbs. It's the carbs. This led her to write a book, Eating Yourself Sick, about the impact of modern processed diets on health. How would she even know that? Back in, when was the book written? Probably at least 10 years ago. At least 10 years ago, we had so little understanding of what junk food even is. So I'm not sure. A vocal critic of EAT-Lancet, Stephen was of the third most prolific of the top 20 misinfluencers in terms of post volume. I mean, I gotta respect the conviction, I guess, right? Us vegans, we can at least understand that. Trying to be charitable here. Why? I don't know. Her objections focused narrowly on potential vitamin B12 deficiencies. Just take a fucking multi-supplement. Have these people haven't heard of the multi-supplements? Of course they did. They're probably selling them. Pieces of shit. Anyways, and the charity has gone away, ignoring the broader evidence supporting plant-forward diets for overall health and environmental sustainability. As with, she's like complaining about this little, very easily fixable cog, very easily screwable cog, the B12 deficiency, while ignoring the rest of the EAT-Lancet report, right? Which, again, to remind, is not a vegan report. It promotes the animal inclusive diet, right? So I don't even know. Hey, what's up, nerd like us? I don't even know what they're talking about, these people. As with many misinfluencers, she classed the finding as elitist. You hear that, vegan gays? You're elitist. She also, I mean, just because they like classify it as vegan diets as well, right? What the fuck was I reading a second ago? She also expressed concerns about feeding children under the diet, exaggerating perceived logistical challenges while disregarding the availability of alternative sources of protein and healthy fats. For the love of God, kids eat Cheerios anyways. Right. Among her tweets on 8th of February 2019, Stephen framed an article from the Ethiopian agriculture minister in which he welcomed, isn't it the same guy who's like did the anti-vax shit? I'm not gonna besmirch people just because I remember some weird shit. In which he welcomed the report's global focus on goals. Well, I guess not on goals, calling for greater attention to the role of livestock in low-income countries, as Ethiopia exposing the report as Western-driven elitist diet. This reminds me of the conversation I had with an Ethiopian person on my last stream. Maybe I should clip that conversation. It was very interesting. Well, I screamed at him for like 30 minutes. Among numerous tweets on this topic, prolific misinfluencer Gary Fatke had also shared a similar narrative a few hours earlier. Stefan also shared Diana Rogers' article on February 13th. So this is, again, days before the EAT-Lancet report was actually released, right? This is preemptive. Just to remind everybody, the EAT-Lancet report was released on February 17th, 2019. So all of this post, February 8th, 2019, that's more than a week before the EAT-Lancet report was released. They're already shitting on it. February 13th, 4 days before the EAT-Lancet report was released, they're already shitting on it. Clip it. It's long, it's not a clip. But yeah, I'll post it. It was funny enough at the end that I guess I should post it separately. 13th, claiming that it explained everything that is wrong with the dodgy EAT-Lancet diet. How the fuck would you know? The report wasn't released yet. this is the upsetting part, right? How the fuck did they know anything about this report more than a week before it was released, or 4 days before it was released? Was there like a copy that was like going around? Preprint? Yeah, maybe. Like, was it leaked from Lancet or from EAT? I don't know. How the fuck did they know about any of this? And there is a lot wrong with it. Well, this person, she just focuses, Steven, she's just focused on like the things that have nothing to do with the EAT-Lancet, right? Because we haven't read the report yet. We're going to read the new report, the EAT-Lancet 2025, after this. But I'm fucking sure they talked about B12 in that report at some fucking point. The 2025, by the way, is going to be the update on 2019. So it's probably going to have the same stuff in it, right? Hey, what's up, Liduli? Please don't call me your lord. Jesus fucking Christ, mate. Liduli, did you read the new EAT-Lancet report? I don't know when you would. I don't know. You'd never have the time. But did you like at least skim it? Do you know? Can you send it to me is what I'm trying to say. All right, I'll find it myself. No worries. I'm just like trying to boss people around. I'm so sorry about that. I should stop doing that. Stephen also claimed the diet was kooky and gibberish in March 2019 and continued to attack the report in the following years and into 2025. Hello, machine. Listen, here's the thing, right, machine? Yeah. Thank you, Tone. I'm trans non-binary, so transphobic shit. Just like, it's the thing that gets you blocked the fastest, right, on this channel. So sorry about that. I'm even gonna go further and just hide you from my thing. Thank you for your zealotry, though. Absolutely the best demon you found. The 0.5% of population who are trans people. Awesome job. Anyways, we continue. This includes attacking the BBC for featuring it, claiming it was industry funded. That's funny. And tagging, which industry is this? Wait, am I misreading this? So Stephen also claims it's kooky, blah, 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 and keeps attacking it. This included attacking the BBC for featuring it, claiming it was industry funded. Which industry? Vegan gays, the broccoli industry finally came through, paid the BBC to publish the report, the EAT-Lancet report. Fuck. And tagging Leroy as she takes the quote of EAT-Lancet editor Richard Horton as proof as the cultish cabal known as EAT 2.0 reveals its true agenda. Jesus Christ, there is like underlying shit happening here, isn't it? They all talk conspiratorially. They all use those conspiratorial buzzwords. I don't even think it's possible. I don't even think that like the concept of conspiracy applies here anymore, because it's like becoming so fucking prevalent that like probably around 50% of I'm just throwing a number, but like a huge amount of the Western civilization hear those words and it tells them something about the world. You know what I mean? It's, oh, fuck. Big broccoli, big asparagus. Yes. Yeah. Please tag Big Broccoli. I need funding. I want to do activism as a full-time job. Please tag them. Funny. All right. We require nothing less than a total reconstruction of human civilization within a single generation, says the Lancet. Lancet's Richard Horton. We require nothing less than a total reconstruction of human civilization within a single generation. I wouldn't believe that he actually said that, because that sounds like a little bit harsh. I would say that. Yes, we do need to do that. Yes, otherwise we're fucked. Like, if he said that, does Luis not understand why he's saying it? If we don't do really seriously drastic measures, which we're not gonna do, we're fucked in a couple of decades. Luis, do you have, like, I don't like appealing to motherhood usually, or fatherhood, right? Do you have kids? Do you want your kids to breathe air? Do you want your kids to have water to drink? Do you want kids to have ChatGPT? If the answer is yes to all of those things, yes, we have to make serious changes in the way we eat, in the way we interact with the world, everything. Yes. Weirdo. Okay. Oh, Zoe Harcombe. Hello, friend. Friend, cynically. I'd never be vegan were it not for big bell pepper and big sweet potato. Yeah. We'll tag them all. Tag them all. Tell them to start sending money our way, since we are already prompting their sales, right? We need them. What else? Zoe Harcombe frequently promotes narratives opposing public health dietary guidelines and advocates for diets high in red meat. She told a BA and MA from the University of Cambridge. She holds a BA and MA from the University of Cambridge and a PhD in health and nutrition from the University of West Scotland, from which she takes her doctor title. I didn't know that. Oh, it says it right there. All right. Doctor title. She promotes the Cambridge links, but does not mention the less known university. From University of Cambridge and a PhD in health and nutrition from the University of West of Scotland. The University of West of Scotland. I just want to see something, not gonna lie. I'm intrigued. I just want to see something. Like, why wouldn't you say about this? You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. Is the University of Scotland a good university? Sorry, I gotta ask it. You know what? I always thought that, like, university comes from univer and then city, because they're like big, the cities. A little bit of insight into how I think. Oh, give me the fucking thing already. University of the West Scotland is considered a good university, recognized. So why wouldn't she say, yeah, I have a PhD from a good university? Weird. What's up, Alpha Caros? What's up, the vegan anthem? How are you doing? Okay. So her website promotes nutritional information and critiques academics articles on dietary shifts. According to the site, all her funding comes from subscribers. A subscription of less than £1 per week keeps this site free from adverts and any corporate influences. Her site includes an article accusing the WHO, the World Health Organization, of mixing up causation and association in its recognition of red and processed meat as probable carcinogens. I actually had somebody read this through for me while arguing with me about veganism. So the processed meat, they make the strong claim it causes cancer. The red meat, they make a claim it's associated with cancer risk, right? So apparently, I didn't know that. Apparently, there is like a difference between those two claims. So causes cancer is like definite, yeah, fuck. That's it. There's nothing else to talk about. But when you have an association, there's still like some doubt there, right? You need like more research. Now, the book that IARC, the institutes, blah, 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 I don't remember, was cancer research, wrote on red and processed meat. I have that book on my site. And it's from 2018. I think there is like much more information since then, and they probably should update the book, is what my suspicion is. Let me show you the book just in case you're not familiar. For the love of God. I love my site. I really fucking love my site now. So, cancer risk. This is for, for doing activism really quickly for them to understand. This is the book, right? And like somewhere on the last page or something, they wrote this in 2018, and they say, well, red meat is associated with cancer risk, increased cancer risk, but processed meat causes cancer, right? So there is like a semantic difference there. So, what is that? I don't know. So what is her site includes an article accusing the WHO of mixing up causation and association. No, they made the claim of association in its recognition of red and processed meat as probable carcinogen. Unless she's going to make the claim that processed meat is only associated, it's not causal to cancer. Well, maybe WHO made WHO. They are kind of cringe sometimes, I'm not going to lie. Maybe the WHO said that, but the IARC are very clear about the relationship between processed meat and cancer risk and red meat and cancer risk. Very clear about it. So I guess maybe the WHO made some kind of a claim, excluding the WHO's essential qualifiers that the risk comes from overconsumption. Well, yeah. Harcombe has written several books about food and diets. I bet all of them are really smart. Joking. Including the obesity epidemic, what caused it, how can we stop it, which was criticized by the World Cancer Research Fund for its dietary and fitness recommendations. Interesting. As the EAT-Lancet, actually, I think I need this. Because I'm low-key working on debunking that B12 book. But since the person who wrote the book and the other person who really promotes the book, they don't like science, despite making scientific claims. I guess I can't use science to debunk the book. So I just should show people what the language looks like, right? In that book, what the claims are. And my suspicion is this book is going to be very similar to that B12 book in how it approaches reality, I suppose. Hello, Marissa. How are you doing? Congratulations on 100 fake points. Big, big winner. Okay. As they lost me at B12. Yeah, it's not from nature. Yeah. They would not make that lie when it is so debunkable. Yeah, I agree with you. It's just like, even if it's true, You know, let's assume that this is true. It's just like a bad heuristic to use when you are trying to promote veganism. Just a terrible heuristic to use. Anyways, as the EAT-Lancet report publicly launched on 17th of January 2019, Harcom posted a blog on her website stating that the EAT-Lancet diet is nutritionally deficient and detailing alleged micronutrient gaps, such as in B12, retinol, vitamin D and K, calcium, iron, sodium, potassium, and omega-3s. This misinfluence network shared the article 6 times, and it was shared over 60 times more generally. Jesus Christ. With tweets directly quoting or paraphrasing it and describing it using terms such as a must-read, brilliant, expert analysis. Well, that's where we get in trouble, right? Yeah, no problem, Marissa. So, Diana Rogers, also a familiar name, just because we've been reading about her this entire time, basically. Diana Rogers is a dietitian and author of Sacred Cow. This is the piece of shit. This is the piece of shit who wrote The Sacred Cow. Holy shit. This is, in case you guys are not familiar, this is the piece of shit whom you can thank partially for the crop deaths argument. This is the piece of shit who created this graphic. Maybe I can find it really quick. Created this graphic that pretends to answer the question or pretends to debunk a vegan claim, but it's actually talking about something else, right? So the claims that vegans make is animals eat a lot of human crops, right? And I guess vegans used to say like a specific number. And what she answered, she gave like this pie chart where she like divides what animals eat by the type of food. And it had like a small sliver. Oh, this is like crops, human crops. I think it was like said 4% or something like that. And she said, well, debunked. But it's not the same claim, is it? It could be the case. In fact, it's probably the case that cows actually eat most human crops. And that it's only 4% of their diet. It's not the same claim. Because cows eat 10 times more than like a human population. And because, let's say, there are like 1.5 billion cows in the world, every time like you count, there's like 1 billion cows. It could be that 4% cashes out into more crops, and we're talking about specific crops, that go to cows that can be like eaten by humans, despite being only 4% of their food, right? Because humans eat so much less crops. Sorry. Still need to blow my nose once in a while. I apologize about that. Cows fart. Sure. Then they just walk again. I don't know what you mean by that. Milixia. Let me know what you mean by that. Both statements are true, but make an argument out of it. All right, let's continue. So this is the piece of shit. Sacred Cow, the case for better meat. I think I've myself debunked that graphic at least 20 or 30 times, right, to a bunch of people. I don't think it's used anymore, that Sacred Cow. I'm not saying it's because of me. There are like people who've been working on debunking that book, right? It's probably that debunk. But I myself debunked the anti-vegan trolls on Twitter at least 20 times using that graphic. She has produced of a documentary. She's a producer of a documentary of the same name and also written 2 paleo cookbooks. She's the founder of the Global Food Justice Alliance. How they're like giving it this like fascist names, like this serious sounding names. A non-profit advocating for the inclusion of animal sourced foods in dietary policies to promote a more nutritious, sustainable, and equitable global food system. Well, it's not equitable to the animals, is it? It's not. Her website states that the ideas she's been promoting are any meat is better than no meat. How am I alive then? And it's not the cow, it's the how. Concepts she celebrates as finally gaining traction in mainstream conversations. Should probably find the debunk of the Sacred Cow book. It probably already exists somewhere. I'm gonna ask around about it. Would be a fun read. I mean, fun for me. You guys are just gonna like fight about other stuff in the chat. She accused the EAT-Lancet Commission of vilifying meat consumption and ignoring the nutritional value of animal products, of imposing vegan or near-vegan diets and ignoring cultural, nutritional, and economic realities. At least she's like making the near-vegan claim, right? They don't give a crap about manners because they are cows, so disrespectful to humans. That's still not an argument. That's just like another claim, which is maybe true, maybe false. I'm not sure. Right? I'm just not understanding what you're on about is the thing, Melixia. On 17th of January 2019, when the report was released, Rogers posted an article on her website, 20 ways EAT-Lancet's global diet is wrongfully vilifying meat, which quoted both Mitlona and Leroy, and referenced a podcast she had done with Mitlona. It was shared 6 times by the Miss Influencer Network and nearly 60 times overall, including by Frederick Leroy and Louise Stephen. In the article, she asks, how nutritious, environmentally friendly, or ethical is it to advise a nutrient-deficient diet to the global population? Claims you have to substantiate. Jesus Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, this looks so sustainable. This screams sustainability. Maybe to the naked eye it does, but we know better, right? Just blabbering, yeah, that's all right. Blabbering is good. It exercises the brain. So, messaging, summits, and frameworks. Industry coordination continues. The social media backlash against the EAT-Lancet report served as a flashpoint. Let me just see that everything is working fine. For food systems becoming embroiled in mis- and disinformation narratives online, opening a new front in the culture wars. This new front serves meat industry interests, and it was quick to capitalize on the remarkable success of the EAT-Lancet pushback. This includes investing further in building narratives and academic resources and strategizing on how to continue with business as usual to fend off regulation. Some of the most prominent misinfluencers, notably Frederick Leroy, played a significant role in organizing scientific declarations and discussions on how to communicate industry narratives more effectively. Slimy pieces of shit. The 2022 Dublin Declaration was used as a tool to lobby against European health and environmental regulation, but was quickly exposed as industry propaganda. Dublin was followed by the Denver Call for Action. They give it such fascistic fucking names. Billed as a scientific conference, but ultimately pushing an urgent communications drive, as shown in documents and audio recordings obtained by Changing Markets and detailed below. I'm gonna read some actual propaganda attempts. Why? Oh, because I'm pushing the wrong button. Great. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there you go. That's good. So, the Dublin Declaration, the thing that Frederick Leroy was using as propaganda. In October 2022, TGASC, Ireland's Agriculture and Food Development Authority, hosted the International Summit on the Societal Role of Meat in Dublin, from which the Dublin Declaration of Scientists on the Social Role of Livestock was launched. Jesus Christ, it's like a mouthful. Dublin Declaration of Scientists on the Social Role of Livestock. Jesus Christ. The agency, which received 75% of its funding from the Irish government and the EU, contributed 39,000 euros, most of the overall cost of 45,000 euros. The conference had a stated aim to overcome increasingly aggressive pleas to decimate or even eliminate animal source foods from human diets. Yes, please. I'm going to be part of that effort until I die, I think. Although the declaration ultimately listed 36 co-authors, its direction was largely shared by a 6-member committee, including prolific EAT-Lancet misinfluencer Frederick Leroy and Pierre Ederer, I guess, a long-time meat industry consultant, whose clients have included meat giants JBS. Jesus. The pair also co-authored the introduction to a follow-up article in a special issue of Animal Frontiers. What the fuck is Animal Frontiers? I'm again so sorry about the slurping sound. It's just something I'm still dealing with. Sorry about that. Animal Frontiers is Oxford academic. Let's push about. What's going on? Am I still on? Is the internet bad? Oh, it's just like takes ages for this to load. This looks terrible. Why are they saying it's Oxford academic, by the way? About the journal, Animal Frontiers is the official journal of the following globally active professional animal science societies. Yeah. So it's just like Meat Shield Academia. This is what it's saying. Interesting. I'm going to keep it open. I'm opening a bunch of stuff to follow through with. Yeah, an Oxford Ag Journal, yeah. Okay. Actually, guys, give me a second to clear my throat, because that's gonna mess me up. Right. So sorry about that. Thank you for panicking. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I'm here. The declaration statement calls for a balanced view of the future of animal agriculture. The final text is just 700 words and mostly presents selective facts about livestock systems without context. For example, that well-managed livestock systems applying agroecological principles can generate many other benefits, and livestock-derived foods provide a variety of essential nutrients and other health-promoting compounds, many of which are lacking in diets globally, even among those populations with higher incomes. So this claim, yeah, I understand. So even without looking what's going on next, I can provide the context for this, right? there could be a well-managed livestock system, right? But still, it could be incredibly detrimental. It just could be better than the one that is happening right now, right? That would be the context. And also globally providing the supply for the demand that is happening right now, right? Because people want more meat, more animal products. So providing that demand, you just can't have well-managed livestock systems, as vague as it is, right? Even if we're managing well, we improved like our ability to produce meat with like 50% of greenhouse gas emissions. Well, the fucking demand keeps growing. The human population keeps growing. So reducing the greenhouse gases by 50%, first of all, implausible, in my opinion. And second of all, it doesn't really address the problem that we have to cut more, right? So the demand must be reduced, according to EAT-Lancet, but by like 90% or something like that, right? We're gonna read the report, so I don't know. But like you can't even do the well-managed thing if you keep the demand as it is, which is what the industries want to do. They do not only want to keep the demand. Oh, sorry. Shit. What's happening? Give me a sec, guys. Sorry. Yeah, you see the USBs. I don't know if it got fucked up for you guys. It got completely fucked up for me. So both screens just got turned off. And then this one turned on, this one didn't. This is what we're dealing with. And it's just like part of the problems. Something fucking happened and it just like wiped it out. Anyways, and the second issue is, right, it's just like they're pushing this thing, USB hub. No, I don't have the USB hub. It's like just like the entire USB thing is fucked up. And that apparently includes the fucking screens that are not connected to USB, but they're connected to the motherboard. So if there's something with the connection to the motherboard, I think there is a problem. Anyways, and the second claim that I'm making, livestock-derived foods provide a variety of essential nutrients. Well fucking done. But we can get those nutrients elsewhere. What we can do with, we can just like send supplements to the entire fucking world population. And we would spend less money than subsidizing this stupid like meat and dairy industries, right? It would actually save money to eliminate meat and dairy and just like send supplements to the entire world population or fortified foods of some kind, right? So that's the context. The context is you can find that nutrition elsewhere and it would be more sustainable, less costly, and more effective, right? The statement declares that livestock systems are too precious to society to become the victim of simplification, reductionism, and zealotry. Mm-hmm. Like it's fucking the industry calling somebody else zealots. It's like weird. Anyways, these are all claims that have been leveled against EAT-Lancet. As a coordinating member of the committee and one of the most outspoken EAT-Lancet misinfluencers, it is possible that Friedrich Leroy, influenced this language with EAT-Lancet in mind. The declaration conveniently omits critical facts about the size of the meat industry, its negative impact on climate and biodiversity, and well-evidenced data on how the overconsumption of meat is driving undesirable health outcomes for many population groups. I didn't talk about health because, you know, like, who gives a fuck? We know about this already. These facts would be essential for the evidence-based discussion about the societal role of meat and livestock. So here's the thing, right? 3 out of 4 men in the US said they would rather die early in life than give up meat. That's the societal role of meat, of animal products, in the US population at least, right? It leads to a suicidal position, or at least in like a longevity reducing position, lack of longevity or something like that, right? Maybe not suicidal, but like, short-sighted position, I suppose. Is that what Leroy is trying to protect? Is that what we should be protecting? This kind of societal role? And calling the people who saying, not even eliminate, reduce animal production, calling them zealots, it's fucking projection. Nonetheless, the declaration received largely uncritical mainstream media coverage and was used as a lobbying tool by meat and dairy interests in the EU. Although it was presented as an independent scientific contribution, a month later, Red Flag was referencing Dublin as part of, I'm supposing they're saying this Dublin report or whatever, as part of its work on the Protein Pact agenda, including communication support and social media networks to secure media opportunities for experts in events like the Dublin Summit. Yeah, I don't know if that's like damning enough to say, like specifically in like isolation, specifically that, oh, therefore it's propaganda, right? Because somebody can use some information and like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess you could. I guess we should. I'm still trying to be charitable, but as I'm speaking, I'm losing my fucking charitability. Reading this report makes me adopt a more extreme position of fuck these people, you know. Okay, following the release of the declaration, Ederer, that's Pierre Ederer, told attendees of the World Meat Congress 2023, holy shit, that he and others had been busy creating the scientific instruments that you as industry can use in policy and public debates. In October 2023, an unearthed investigation revealed how the declaration was orchestrated by figures with financial ties to the meat industry. The investigation was also featured in The Guardian, with the article which included an eminent environmental scientist calling the declaration industry propaganda. Following these publications, the declaration website added author names and some clarification on potential conflicts of interest. Funny how that happens. However, key information is still missing. For example, while the site does now disclose that one of the authors, Colette Casta, is the CEO of the American Meat Society Association, it does not mention that AMSA, whatever that is industry funded, nor does it disclose Ederer's close ties to the meat industry. So all of those things are fucking, they have citations, guys, right? They're not just making the claims and like walking away. I'm back on the B12 book that has 0 citations. It gives the citations, and I bet at the end, actually no, I'm not betting on it. I know that at the end, they just have like a huge amount of articles. I'm considering going through some of them, right? I've been writing some of them down, the ones that seem like the most interesting. In November, but I'm going to check them out first to see that I can make it interesting to you guys as well, I suppose. Wouldn't want to bore you to death, only half to death. In November 2023, Leroy appeared on Beef Central TV, stating that the declaration is an independent initiative coming from independent scientists. There has been no funding whatsoever from industry or influence over what we're doing by industry. Let me read this. In November 2023, Leroy appeared on Beef Central TV, stating that the declaration is an independent initiative coming from independent scientists. There has been no funding whatsoever from the industry or influence over what we're doing by industry. This, if was true, is actually a fair point, right? So it's often that studies are being dismissed by saying, well, this was funded by a certain industry. For instance, I don't know, the whatever, some kind of an LDL conspiracy science was funded by the big broccoli or something like that. The funding itself doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it can, okay? I personally was a study coordinator on a study that was published that the influence of the organization that was paying for it was too big for me to remain not biased. Right, I tried as much as I could, but it was my first trial ever that I was a study coordinator on. And I had no idea that I'm supposed to not listen to this person because this person is being paid to influence the results of the study, basically, right? I didn't know. But then, right, I also been paid by several industries or whatever the fuck is called, right? By outside sources, as I am today as well, to do my job. But I know how to do it in an unbiased way today because I know what my job is now, right? So it's possible, for instance, like if an industry has its own lab, right? And that lab can be influenced, for instance, by the payment, then yeah, it could be that the study is cooked. But a lot of the times, science needs to be paid for, always. And a lot of the times, industries are gonna pay an independent laboratory to conduct a study and to give them the results, without having the ability to even influence. This is cooked into ethics that is sometimes overlooked, specifically, I would say, by the cosmetic companies, all right? But most of the time, science is made independently despite being funded by interests, by like companies with interest. Well, actually, the interest of the company is not to put out an unsafe drug, for instance, or a drug that does nothing, basically, right? That's actually like, I think, misunderstanding because, like, for instance, a drug company wants to put out a highly effective, highly safe drug. That's the thing that's gonna make the money for literal fucking decades, right? If they put out an ineffective drug, people are gonna stop using it. If they put out unsafe drug, people are gonna file lawsuits against the company. So, like, drug companies are highly motivated to put out a safe, effective drug that will give them the money without them needing to spend more money on inventing a new drug. I hope that's clear when we're talking about motivations, that the motivations of the drug companies is not as people claim. All right? Sorry, this is my TED Talk. I had to put it in because the B12 book is on my mind, I guess. I've been pissed off at that book for weeks now. Anyways, so yeah, I had to make that point. If true, Leroy could be potentially right, is what I'm saying. Of course, he's a slimy piece of shit, so we should disregard everything he says. So, in 2024, further analysis by Food Unfolded found that 60% of signatories that had links with the livestock sector. 60% of signatories had links with the livestock sector. In 2025, again, might not mean anything, but we're collecting data here. In 2025, a paper in Environmental Science and Policy, the Dublin Declaration, Gain of the Meat Industry, Loss for Science. I actually want to examine this. Let me write down this citation. So sorry. So citation 121. I might want to examine it. Into the livestock sector, right? Just because I made the speech right now, this doesn't necessarily mean blah, 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 blah. Now I want to see what's happening actually in that report. In 2025, a paper in Environmental Science and Policy, the Dublin Declaration, Gain of the Meat Industry, Loss for Science, found the Dublin Declaration echoes meat industry narratives. The Dublin Declaration conflicts with well-established scientific findings on meat production and consumption. The Dublin Declaration is associated with excessive self-citation and large conflicts of interest. It also found that while the Dublin Declaration impacts on public discourse arguably should not be overstated, it certainly has contributed to a large media environment which often vilifies initiative toward dietary shifts. Hey, what's up, Diego? So this is box 4. By box, I mean just like a bit more information, I think. So, established in 2011, Animal Frontiers, it's this thing. Animal Frontiers is a review journal published as a joint venture of the American Society of Animal Science, the Canadian Society of Animal Science, the European Federation of Animal Science, and the American Meat Science Association. Jesus Christ. While all have close industry ties, AMSA, it's this one, American Meat Science Association, in particular, is known to receive funding and event sponsorship for major industry players such as Cargill and JBS. Jesus. Animal Frontiers is predominantly invite-only, publishing articles which emphasize the nutritional, economic, and societal importance of animal source foods, while critiquing plant-forward frameworks. The journal has published at least 5 articles explicitly challenging the EAT-Lancet report, with special features on the Dublin Endeavour Declaration, led by AMSA. Since January 2018, as part of the move to enhance the global visibility, subscriptions, and international research of this journal, all SS Links publications, including Animal Frontiers, have been published by Oxford University Press. Okay. From Dublin to Denver. Central player behind the EAT-Lancet backlash and Dublin Declaration, including Frederick Leroy, went on to organize and participate in gathering of industry-friendly academics, PR professionals, and paid advocates in Denver, Colorado in October 2024. The conference was billed as a scientific gathering with academic-themed notes and presentations made publicly available. However, some notes and presentations on branding, communications, public relations, and lobbying were not. Dissenting voices were refused entry to allow an open exchange. I don't know why there is an M here. Oh, there you go. That's why. So open exchange in session 3, societal consideration. P. Ederer mentioned that discussions on whether to invite some of the maybe more reasonable abolitionists to the meeting, saying that ultimately they decided against it because, well, that's echo chambery in it. because our experience has been in other forums that it's not constructive. Sure, the fuck isn't. It's not really a constructive discourse. Here's the thing, right? We as vegans we are being accused of being like cultish or whatever the fuck. I challenged everybody to debate me on the daily fucking basis. I ask people who oppose my position or whose position I oppose to come and have a conversation, a discussion, a debate with me. And these guys exclude the people who don't agree with them from these gatherings, right? That's how dishonesty, that's what dishonesty looks like. That's what being a coward looks like, in my opinion. It's really not really constructive discourse, and it disturbs our ability to grapple with these within these issues. Hey, what's up, Aston Hewitt? So we had people apply that we turned down, that we actively did not want to come, so that we can have here in this room an open exchange. It's written kind of weird. I think the person is not an English speaker or something. This is crazy. This is crazy. And industry-sponsored networking events for delegated was deliberately kept off record. Denver organizing committee member Keith Belk, in response to a request from the Global Meat Alliance to have its drinks event formally included in the schedule, replied, "We must maintain an arm's length distance from industry." So plausible deniability, basically, from industry, as we cannot be perceived as having conflict of interest. So we are hosting the meeting and facilitating the debate. What debate? You're not inviting anybody who disagrees with you. That may occur, but we're not asking for any sponsorship or support. Interesting. I guess could be plausible that it's like it's been done to protect, to remain impartial or something like that. This secrecy, I don't know if that seems like a secrecy based on this. I'm not sure. Was overcome thanks to audio recordings of the proceedings obtained by changing markets, as well as documents. I want to hear that. Do you have a citation for that? As well as documents selectively published by its organizers and participants. These make clear that the livestock industry is committed to increasing its public relation operation. At Denver, communications and PR professionals urged delegates to embrace biased or unproven scientific arguments and push identity-driven influencer campaigns. Please, I want to read this citation or listen to it. For the love of actual God, why isn't there a citation number to this? Maybe it's later coming, right? Because they're gonna cite a block or something like that. Holy fuck, I want to listen to that. Denver was part funded by the US taxpayer. The summit successful application for a $49,000 grant to USDA National Institute of Food and Agriculture was supported by several companies and industry groups. Letters from the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, Meat and Livestock Australia, and several branches of GBS. Those fuckers have like all the hands in the cookie jar. Are included in the application, amongst others. The letters voice enthusiastic support. Maybe this is the citation. For the events, citing the need for the communication project to emphasize meat's institutional benefits while countering pressure faced by the industry with regards to climate change, excessive water use, animal well-being violations, and safety problems. Please, for the love of God, I have to. Guys, I'm so sorry. I have to go see if citation number 129, those are citations, by the way. What the citation 129 is, I have to go see. Information obtained is contained in a number of documents, including letters and graph applications in relation to Denver Summit Changing Markets. Has these documents. Fuck. There is no link. That sucks. I really, really would have wanted to hear this or to read this. Fuck. All right. Another, that sucks, man. Another funder was the US National Institute of Food and, well, I suppose they have to keep those things. I suppose I have to keep those things to themselves. Right? Like, there are some things that probably can't expose because they would expose the people who leaked it. Suppose. I don't know. Another founder of the US National Institute of Food and Agriculture, as well as the Montford Family Foundation, which according to its website is powered by Montford, a group with roots to Colorado's cattle industry. As with Dublin, the Denver call for action was published in a special edition of Animal Frontiers. There were presentations and by the way, I think if you have something like this, right? If you have a journal or an organization with a clear agenda to increase or to maintain the consumption of animal products, I think it's you can very easily say, yes, a bias is occurring here, in my opinion. This is funny though. There were presentations on nutrition and diets, all of which argued that meat is essential for human health. How the fuck am I alive? How the fuck am I healthy? How the fuck am I staying upright? Holy shit. An industry summary of the Denver meeting helps us understand why it was organized. Ideological activist attacks on the livestock and meat industry, that's us guys, that's us. Ha 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 ha. Can be refuted by high quality scientific evidence. This is why they're doing it, so that somebody can post a study and say, well, this is a scientific study written by animal organization shields or like animal exploitation organization shields. You knew Animal Frontiers seems shady. What the fuck do you mean? They're saying it up front. This is about the journal, right? Animal Frontiers is an official journal of the following globally active professional animal science societies. Fully open access. Okay. Statements of facts and opinion in the articles in Animal Frontiers of those of the respective authors and contributors and not of the journal. Oh, I suppose they have to say that. An animal interest approach method as a gateway to a One Health educated pipeline. About Animal Frontiers. Oh, leads to this. Hate when links just like loop on themselves. Why did you include the link then? Holy fuck. I'm now like site building build because I'm building my own site. I have been building it for the past few months. So I'm like now, why would you include the link leading to that fucking same page? In that page. Makes no fucking sense. Okay. I guess unless you want to jump up, but there's so little, there's nothing to scroll here. Tiny amount of scrolling. And yet there's a link. Latest. Stupid shit. Sorry. Oh, I'm a bit all over the place today. Anyways, maybe it's the lack of meat. An industry, all right, we read this. This can be seen as code for unproven scientific concepts such as the nourishment table. See box 5, ooh, I can't wait. Then the speakers released these theories alongside attacks on official dietary guidelines, elevating non-medical and livestock-friendly factors such as culture and personal choice. This is why those things repeat, because people who are already incentivized to not change their behaviors, their diets, their minds, see these posts and like, yeah, it is my personal choice to eat all of these foods. This is why. It is part of my culture. It's a unique culture, like no other culture that is based on like animal foods. Ridiculous. The Forefront was conference co-organized and ringleader of the EAT-Lancet Pushback and Dublin conference, Frederick Leroy. Leroy's work has been accused of overgeneralizing evidence and failing to acknowledge the severe acute public health and environmental harm of livestock. The Denver call for action has 3 central asks: a nourishment-oriented policy, recognition of system complexities in livestock and ecology, and high standards of evidence and respect for science. While the asks are presented with neutral language, they present a blinkered view which helps preserve the status quo. I'm sorry, I'm reading terribly today. Holy fuck. Must be lack of meat. Again. Nourishment oriented. I should stop saying that. Somebody's gonna clip it and will be like, look, VPM is doing something shady. Nourishment oriented policy, emphasizing claims that alternatives to animal products are nutritionally incomparable and often inadequate, devoid of the flavors and textures that people desire. Taste pleasure. There you go. It comes from here as well. The call ignores the centuries-old significance of plant-based foods in diverse cultures worldwide. True. I'm going to say that next time. Recognition of system complexities in livestock and ecology, arguing that livestock's footprint should not be overstated, that it is being incorrectly measured in current analysis, and that there are plans to undermine the industry. High standards of evidence and respect for science, while presented as a call for scientific debate and food policies based on sound evidence. This ask is undermined by the conference itself, discrediting and foundations of the scientific community and methods such as EAT-Lancet. Right. Scientific conferences don't usually begin with advice from spin doctors. However, Denver did. Interesting. The PR firm that celebrates the EAT-Lancet online backlash, Red Flag, gave a pre-summit workshop, Jesus, which was not included on the conference notes, but is referred to in a report prepared by the Australian Meat Processor Corporation. Interesting. Red Flag had earlier launched the Protein Pact through Animal Agriculture Alliance board members and meat industry's chief strategy officer, the EAT-Lancet critic, Eric Mittenol. This is actually his name, Mittenol. As a delegate of the Denver conference, Mittenol acknowledged how helpful influencers are to lobbying policymakers, such as a high-profile climate event like COP. Let me just move that away. All right. Scientific arguments will only get us so far, industry note takers acknowledged. When it comes to public communications, there is strong agreement that scientific evidence is a poor cousin of personal belief. Something is a poor cousin of personal belief, they wrote. So they claiming bias, I suppose. One presenter acknowledged that this is not a scientific conference. Meat industry consultant. Panel discussion. And so we are engaged with food systems, influencers, and health professionals, interlocutors, where we go to events like Climate Week and will be at Azerbaijan to really be a part of, I don't know what is this towards. That's fine. Oh, fuck, not again. Why? Why are we doing this? Hold on, guys. So incredibly annoying. And I don't know how to fix it. So annoying. All right. Meat industry consultant and a Dublin leader, P. Ederer, urged Denver delegates to recognize that scientific facts are not as critical as who you are, and that truth is a relative concept, so it's literally alternative truth. Another speaker expressed open disdain to leading scientific institutions, describing those fancy people at Harvard, fancy people at Tufts. Some of those people, they're both annoying, just their public statements, but even imagine sitting down and eating with them. It's just fucking crazy. During the conference final session, Ederer said, we, the Dublin Denver group of scientists, we also call ourselves the Societal Role of Meat.org scientists. But it's a bit more clumsy, although I'm sure our communication PR agents would disapprove of that. I'm so glad that people actually leak shit from those places. Holy fuck, it's kind of my dream to be at one of those secret meetings. It's 100% my dream. Just sit there, documenting everything and going, did I just say that? Being the Lois Habiba. Oh, there's a Doctor Who reference. Oh, no, it's the Torchwood reference, I guess. In another session, PR expert Charlie Arnott told delegates that the agricultural sector continues to have a public trust problem. It's just too much to read. Yeah, let's read it. Anyways. In another session, PR expert Charlie Arnott told delegates that the agricultural sector continues to have a public trust problem. Communication, I hope you can see this, guys. I don't know if you can, though. I'm gonna make it a little closer so that you can see. Communications expert Alexa Lamb presented a paper communicating with society about the science behind meat and livestock production, which claims high levels of anti-meat misinformation online, while describing the younger generation as source of future growth for industry that is still pliable on channels like TikTok and Instagram. At the conferences, in her talk, Making the Impact, Communicating the Science of Policymakers Consumers, she acknowledged that industry has a trust problem, saying that the public have cognitive dissonance between nice green fields and the reality of factory farming. Wonder that they got that idea. Well, which people talk about cognitive dissonance all the fucking time. It's us, it's vegans. You see, if you in dystopia today, you should know vegans are changing the world enough that the meat industry is talking about it, right? Well, they're pointing out the factory farming here, but We point out all farming is shitty. Lam urged conference delegates to build partnerships with few forms of media to find new and young audiences. Changing markets. What is that? Changing Markets has this recording in addition to Lam's presentation. Slides are available on official conference website. Ooh. Guys. I know what we're doing next week. Guys. Those are video recordings. Or at least audio recordings. Finally, you're not gonna have to listen to me talk. Oh my fucking God. Put one in the chat if you're excited about this. Well, there are only 6 of you left here. Are they in English? Let's see. Let's push one. That's a good question though, Tom. Thank you. Hello.
Well, congratulations. You made it to the last speaker of the day. And you're still here. And I hope that I can...
Yeah, it's Denver. Yeah, it's in English. Well, now do you have interest, Tom? I like to hear it. Well, I promise you, I'm going to be pausing a lot and talking anyways. But I think I found what we're doing for the next 2 weeks, I think. We're going to listen to this. Holy fuck, I'm so excited. Ooh, I'm actually having goosebumps. Nice. Okay. What a find. Holy shit. I was like, almost give up on this citation, but decided to read it anyways. Holy fuck, I'm so excited. Where was that? That was P. P, we finished reading... Yeah, this. And that while there was significant profits ahead, more work was needed to secure its social license to operate and avoid environmental and human health laws. I think we can skip the citation because I think we're going to listen to it. Oh my fucking God, I'm so excited. Another delegate talked about Europe saying, we are really fighting for our license to produce. 2 industry organizers concluded that the conference involved successful communicators to inform the translation of science to effective consumer discussion. It's like something weird that is like hitting the corner of my eye on my mic. Never mind. You're doing okay. You're doing fine. Did you like that? Did it make a nice sound? Maybe I should transition to SMR, talking about veganism while caressing my mic, since Pia likes my tone of voice. Might do it. It was agreed that it's a matter of urgency, a coordinated strategy to amplify the science using all contemporary channels, and lobbying was essential, linking with international stakeholders to achieve maximum cut-through with uniform global messaging for consumers and policymakers. The statement summarized above made by deeply partisan players in a conference organized and sponsored by industry suggests that the plan is to rely on biased and unproven science, identify identity politics and misinformation to sway public opinion, fend off regulation, and continue reaping profits. The status quo, in other words, is at the cost of tremendous harm to public health and the planet. It's crazy. Bedtime streams. I don't know about that. The launch, I think this is a niche thing. I think maybe the 6 of you here still maybe like listening to me, but the rest don't like it, right? That's why there are only 6 of you, 11 now, but I think only 6 of you that matter, if you know what I mean. The launch of EAT-Lancet 2.0 as a major scientific update to the first EAT-Lancet report is clearly seen as a threat to industry interests. There is little doubt in part of the attacks of the livestock industry the summit was trying to address. In the presentation, it was also directly acknowledged as part of the future challenges. Ooh. There is like an actual picture. Let me just see how much we have left. 5. There is a conclusion. The conclusion is kind of long. So what we're going to do, we're going to leave the conclusion for next time. I don't know. Or maybe I'll let you read the conclusion or something like that. I don't know. Let's just give me a second. Let me just disable my flux again. 1, 2, 3, and then a conclusion. Another 5 pages. So 8 pages. Let's see if we can go through them today, because I really want to listen to the videos next week. We'll see. All right. The nourishment table, that's box 5. In February 2025, as part of Animal Frontier special edition about Denver, Frederick Leroy published, let me just make it even bigger. No, that's too big. Frederick Leroy published a new dietary framework, the nourishment table. It is derived from a study co-authored by Leroy and a fellow EAT-Lancet academic critics by Ty Beale and Alice Stanton. A framework for adequate nourishment, balancing nutrient density and food processing levels within the context of cultural and regionally appropriate diets. The fuck does that mean? Hey, what's up, Neil? Sorry about the less pleasant ASMR. In the description of the nourishment table on Aleph 2020, I think we read about it, Leroy and his co-author state they are basing it in the failure of existing dietary guidelines. Well, almost nobody follows the dietary guidelines, so I don't know how can they prove the failure part. It's one of those like ecological fallacies, right? They're saying, oh, this thing exists, and then with it also exists all this like poor health outcomes, as they say, in the population, right? So they say, oh, 1 + 1, right? Whereas it's a bit more complicated because the dietary guidelines don't necessarily affect the public, because the public doesn't fucking follow them. They're following something else. They're eating cultural, actually, right? They're actually eating the way their culture ascribes them to do. So, fuck, so annoying. It's one of those things that have become like, it become annoying to me, since I can now like clearly see when someone is making a statement using data that doesn't necessarily, you can't actually derive the statement from. It's like incredibly annoying to me now because I can see it everywhere. They argue that nutrient deficiencies are still an issue and diet-related non-communicable diseases have increased to epidemic proportions. This is also like fear-mongering, while only a minority of adults still in optimal cardiometabolic health. These bold assertions fails to acknowledge that dietary guidelines are largely not followed, which is exactly what I said. Fucking hair in my mic. Maybe it's just the hair coming on from my actual hair. No, it's definitely on my mic. I can see it when I'm... It's right there. There you go. Disposed. Cruelly disposed. Right, largely not followed, with a recent global systematic review showing that 40% of the population in both high and low income countries do not adhere to food-based dietary guidelines. What's up? Big something. I'm so sorry. Your name. Please tell me how to spell it. Hey, what's up, Fush? They will bring food at some stage. Okay. Well, you guys are talking about your stuff. That's fine. I'm doing this for me anyways. You are here as a... Thank you for supporting me, I guess. I appreciate it. The nourishment table claims that low intake of animal-derived foods like the EAT-Lancet model often leads to deficiencies in key nutrients. Drop supplements on them. The way you drop supplements into the feed, but provides no evidence to back up the statement. It also somewhat contradictory. It also somewhat contradictorily claims that the health risks of high animal food consumption are uncertain, while confidently asserting that heavy animal-based diets can offer therapeutic potential for the metabolically challenged. That's interesting. That's indeed is contradictory. Depends on how it cashes out. Well, they're not going to cash it out. They're going to leave it vague like that. The evidence provided either self-references work by Leroy or cherry picks findings from the other studies, many of which themselves have been discredited. The references in the statement include Leroy's 4 details, blah, blah, blah. Additionally, see Olive 2020 section of the protein and micronutrients for a discussion on nutrient-dense foods across the life course. Okay, I'm not interested in the nutritional claims. We know that bullshit. Yeah, at the end of the Denver summit, the nourishment table was presented as a key resources for industry to use. It is already being promoted by the top misinfluencers in our dataset. For example, in March 2025, Joanna Blythman interviewed Frederick Leroy about the nourishment table of the Sustainable Food Trust's website, positioning it as an alternative to a one-size-fits-all dietary prescription like the EAT-Lancet planetary health diet, ignoring the flexibility that is built into the EAT-Lancet report. I'll keep saying it. The EAT-Lancet report is not promoting a vegan diet. Right, it's not animal exclusive diet or like animal excluding diet. Signs of backlash to EAT-Lancet 2.0, alongside the continued messaging and development and coordination of the meat industry and misinfluencers at events such as Dublin and Denver. Pro-meat messaging continues to be spread through social media. The Yes to Meat hashtag was used over 2,000 times in the period between June 2024 and May 2025, because they know the EAT-Lancet 2.0 is coming. While meat heals, cringe. Oh, I should start a tofu heals hashtag. It's just so cringe as well. I don't know. Was used over 8,000 times. I should find a way to do it. I should find a way to use the tofu heals hashtag somehow. And maybe support the EAT-Lancet. Despite it being not vegan, it's vegan adjacent at the least, right? While there is significant background noise, some of the misinfluencers are already attacking EAT-Lancet, leading to some peaks in our 2024-25 dataset. Friedrich Leroy and Nina Teicholz, I think they misspelled her name terribly here, have been... I don't care, have been the most prolific, and therefore we reviewed them here. In December 2024, Leroy posted a series of comments to an X post, including that EAT-Lancet is out there with astrology. Bold. Bold, attacking your base, Frederick Leroy, because those are the people who probably believe in astrology the most. Then on 20th of January 2025, he wrote an inflammatory post attacking EAT-Lancet with false equivalence claims about the diet and rates of malnutrition, stunting, and diabetes in India. His post viewed over 20,000 times, reactivated familiar narratives about the planetary diet being nutritionally inadequate and ideologically driven. About the planetary diet being actually, do they not know that people in India like drink a lot of dairy? Do they not know that? Oh, they don't care, probably. Or they probably know and like harvest it anyways. Responses included calling EAT-Lancet a joke and a suggestion that it be designated a terrorist organization. Jesus fucking Christ. He goes to lengths, huh? In March, he questioned why there would be a future EAT-Lancet report and warned people to get prepared for more dystopian plans to mess with our global diets. Starting October 2025. In April, he shared an article claiming that the EAT-Lancet diet would increase nitrogen emissions in Denmark. I hate this narrative because the science shows that using fake fertilizers, so like synthetic fertilizers, actually produces less nitrogen overflow than using manure. I hate this. Sabicoops, I appreciate it. Sabicoops, thank you. I'll try to remember that. I think I will remember that. In April, he shared an article claiming that the EAT-Lancet diet would increase nitrogen emissions in Denmark, lie, and in June accused the EAT-Lancet of being industry-funded. Tayshiels also continue to focus on direct attacks on EAT-Lancet, including December 2024, where she claimed the planetary health diet was developed by global business groups. Piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here. On 18th of January 2025, the EAT-Lancet featured an editorial about the dangers of mis and disinformation for public health. This prompted a backlash, with people referring to hypocrisy and claiming that it is the EAT-Lancet report that is disinformation. Tayshiels, spelled correctly this time, was among the top critics by engagement. Her post on X criticized the Lancet received more than 32,000 views, was liked 532 times. That's actually very little for Nina Tayshiels. And reposted or quoted 108 times. Tayshiels, well, did they show how many of those people who quoted her were actually like pro EAT-Lancet? Trying to discredit, or not discredit, but debunk Nina Tayshiels. Tayshiels prompted another small spike on January 24th, 2025, when she commented on EAT founder Gunhild. We are struggling today with names. Gunhild Stordalen. I usually just go next, but discussing the planetary health diet at the World Economic Forum, claiming it showed elites were still pushing the EAT-Lancet agenda. Tayshiels continues to be active in her attacks on EAT-Lancet, including in the post in August 2025, claiming it is funded by corporations and Bill Gates. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, get the fuck out of here. Another buzzword. Really, truly. She calls it a multi-million-dollar campaign on how we should all eat a diet of 1.5 oz of, I don't remember how to say, is it pounds? No, is it like, what is oz? I don't remember. Of meat a day. While claiming the backlash is an organic grassroots campaign which supporters of EAT-Lancet are trying to discredit. Yeah, it looks very organic since you like fucking attacking it with like industry funds, with industry PR campaigns, with like preemptively before the report is even released. Yeah, it's so grassroots. Oh, Nina, come on. Come on, mate. And her followers probably believe her. She uses many of the same arguments put forward by Frederick Leroy in his article on Aleph 2020. I don't remember what Aleph 2020 is. It's something bad. Some of her recent posts have also been shared by Joanna Blythman. Yeah, she's just like, okay, what's the problem with this? It's perfect. Well, not perfect. It could be better because there is like an egg here and a little bit of dairy right there. But other than that, there is also like very little variety here. What the fuck is the tofu? What the fuck are the grains? All I see is like nuts. Oh, she's faking it. Get the fuck out of here. Conclusion. Shall we just read through the conclusion real quick? We're going to try. The pushback against the EAT-Lancet report in 2019 is considered the first major outbreak in mis and disinformation targeting food systems, transformation, and the science supporting it. Our research into the social media backlash shows that it was not an organic phenomenon, but the result of a coordinated network of misinfluences. Some have clear links to the meat industry, while others have strong convictions, zealous, and on the necessity of high meat consumption, while the industry then amplified. Behind the EAT-Lancet backlash was a small but very vocal group of seemingly independent and unconnected experts with high following and engagement, who posted consistently and amplified each other's posts, articles, and opinions, creating the impression of a valid and multifaceted critique of the scientific report. By some measurements, they succeeded in swaying undecided audiences against the report's findings and the reality that reducing the consumption of animal products is a critical lever for healthier diets and a crucial solution in a time of climate and nature crisis. Documents suggest that the campaign around the hashtag yes to meat and climate food facts were industry funded, and that senior figures celebrated criticism of the EAT-Lancet report as an example of successful industry coordination. Furthermore, industry-aligned scientists like Frank Meatlona used their role in the it's just his name really kills me every single time. Used the role in the online backlash for further fundraising purposes with industry groups that were involved in setting on the Clear Center and at UC Davis. For many, I should drink something. One sec. Hey, what's up, Michael? For many of the top miso influencers, we found no evidence that they were paid directly by the industry. However, they have written books on the topic, provide lectures, and sell dietary advice, subscriptions on specific products, meaning that many of them have financial interest in maintaining high level of meat consumption. Importantly, since 2019, the level of online misinformation related to food systems has grown exponentially. In our 2023 report, Truth, Lies and Culture Wars, we uncovered analyzed almost 1 million misinformation posts between June 1st, 2022 and July 31st, 2023. Our findings show that many of the same narratives used in the attacks against EAT-Lancet traced in the report had persisted and amplified. In 2025, carnivorous diets and those who push them are considered mainstream in many environments, notably pushed and legitimized by the US Health Secretary RFK Jr., piece of shit, as well as by several opinion leaders within the so-called manosphere. They haven't talked enough about manosphere, in my opinion. According to research by Hubbub, young men aged 16 to 24 are nearly 3 times more likely than the general population to have increased their meat consumption over the last year. This is upsetting to read. And what's up? Happy World Vegan Day, include. Cipriano Mazzola. I like your name, Cipriano Mazzola. This year, for the second time running, the World Economic Forum highlighted mis and disinformation as one of the top 10 short-term risks. I don't know what that is. Society. Maybe. They have a few spelling mistakes here, I think. The landscape into which the EAT-Lancet Commission's second report will be released in October 2025 is now far more ridden with climate and health mis and disinformation, including the backlash against scientific research, as well as significant uptake of conspiracy theories driven by far-right actors. They didn't talk enough about far-right either. Below, we analyze some of the key trends that might negatively impact EAT-Lancet 2.0. Conspiracy theories shaping public opinion. According to the Harvard Kennedy School's Misinformation Review, conspiracy theories have transitioned from a fringe phenomena to central forces shaping public opinion and political discourse worldwide. I made this or similar claim about an hour ago. Driven by the digital transformation of information, conspiracy beliefs increasingly pose a challenge across the world. Maybe I want to read this report, actually. Let me just write it down really quickly. I apologize. Citation 154. Guys, we're here for the long run. Not gonna lie. You're gonna hear me read a lot in the next months, I think. So, conspiracy theories. So it's this Harvard Kennedy School's Misinformation Review. Okay. Now, the rise of COVID-19 related conspiracy theories such as the Great Reset has turned debates over diets and climate into a battleground for influence and a ripe area for polarization. Far-right conspiracy theories which allege that global elites aim to control diets, impose insect-based foods and synthetic meat, and restrict personal freedom of choice and are increasingly mainstream. We saw early forms of these conspiracy theories in the 2019 dataset. For example, Nina Teicholz and Gary Fettke referred to big food and big pharma driving EAT-Lancet and vegan billionaires. Please send those vegan billionaires to me to fund me. Trying to tell everyone what to eat. In Truth, Lies and Culture Wars, conspiracy theories represented 37% of all posts and were promoted by right-wing figures like Peter Sweden, Geert Wilders, and Cabot Phillips. sure hope I pronounced any of that correctly, who were not yet engaged in food systems and misinformation in 2019, but can be expected to engage in potential 2025 backlash. Oh, gosh. Gosh. Carnivore diet. God fucking damn it. The bane of our existence in it. The bane of our fucking existence is the carnivore dieters. Carnivore diets, protein boom, and the manosphere. Our tracking shows that of the hashtag most prevalent in the 2019 backlash, hashtag yes to meat continues to be prolific with over 2,000 posts in the last year, and is now consistently used across the range of social media platforms, while hashtag meat heals featured in more than 8,000 posts in 1 year, show social media users' continued interest in carnivorous diets. In truth, lies, and culture worlds, online narratives focused on the supposed health benefits of meat, but also around polarizing debates on masculinity and how real men must eat lots of meat. The protein boom, the term used to describe the current wellness and fitness fixation on protein, has boosted existing animal protein products, as well as led to the increase in protein startups and protein-focused beauty and wellness trends. Carnivorous diets are often featured in manosphere podcasts and talk shows and have been promoted by the likes of Joe Rogan, rocketing diarrhea, Jordan Peterson, and Andrew Tate. That's my Andrew Tate. Do with it what you will. This highlights supposed benefits like better mental clarity and greater connection with nature, often alongside misinformation about the environmental impacts of meat consumption. Declines in social media content standards. Humans are naturally drawn to moral and emotional information, and social media algorithms exploit this by promoting content that maximizes engagement rather than accuracy. These flawed feeds with sensational or polarizing material, making extreme views appear more common than they are. The risks have been exacerbated by the decline in social media content standards, following Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter in October 2022. Has it been actually 3 years? And its subsequent rebranding as X, still Twitter to me. In September 2023, the platform discontinued the function that allowed users to report misleading information, saying it would now rely solely on community notes, which are also riddled by misinformation. I know, because I'm a community noter on X for content moderation. Analysis by the Harvard Kennedy School has documented a statistically significant decline in information quality under the new system. In addition, X is increasingly pushing far-right content to its users, which has resulted in many people leaving the platform. The majority of users who have now stopped using X following Musk's takeover cited concerns about the lack of moderation and quality of information. Despite this, X still has 586 million active monthly users in February 2025. A lot of those might be bots though. Like the honey bots, I call them the honey bots because there's like a sexy industry on X, but also like the misinformation bots. So I'm not sure if they're counting those bots as like users or not. Fuck knows. And we can expect backlash against EAT-Lancet to thrive on this platform. The rise of AI, we're coming there. This decline in content standards is not exclusive to X. Meta, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads also ended its third-party fact-checking program in January 2025, with Mark Zuckerberg claiming This would reduce censorship on its platform, which have around 3 billion users. I hate all Meta products, I'm not gonna lie. This has already resulted in more extremist content being shared, prompting Meta's oversight board to express concerns about the change in content moderation having been actioned too hastily. The rise of AI. Since 2023, with the rise of generative artificial intelligence, the spread of online disinformation has accelerated. From deep fakes to fake news and automated bots, AI can generate more content and make it increasingly convincing. Importantly, AI-based systems have increased automated curation, limiting users' opportunities to discover content independently. They have also been shown to enable highly targeted messaging designed to reach specific communities, aligned with their beliefs and values, and influence opinions more effectively. Should we read this? Types of narratives likely to be used against EAT-Lancet 2.0. Let's read it really quickly. Let's just skim over it. So, disparage, maligning EAT-Lancet diet is unhealthy. Health-based information described as the EAT-Lancet diet is nutritionally deficient. Well, we read all of this. So what they expect is for people to disparage the EAT-Lancet diet as unhealthy. Vilifying EAT-Lancet diet is not good for the environment. Undermining science and research. It's probably gonna make the claim that they're wrong. Polarizing culture wars, they're gonna involve culture wars, saying on this side is EAT-Lancet, it's the leftists, it's the liberals, and on this side is the truth, it's the right thing. Conspiring, the elite are planning a great reset. Jesus, my eyes roll really hard every time I hear this. Enhance, health washing, animal-based food products are essential for good health. How am I standing upright? Greenwashing, animal-based food products are environmentally friendly. Right? These are the claims that EAT-Lancet report expect as a backlash. We have only one page left, guys. So let's finish it up so that we can next week move on to this the actual Denver Commission thingy. All right, let me just make it a little bigger. Anyways, there you go. Preparing for EAT-Lancet 2.0 and beyond. It was released already. Many of the same misinfluence behind the 2019 backlash are still active and engaging with each other. Their reach has grown, and the public acceptance of or take-up of their ideas has increased. At the same time, mis and disinformation in food systems is increasingly entrenched in sophisticated with newer voices also pushing these narratives. While X may not have the same level of influence it did in 2019, it still has more than 500 million or monthly users, but the anti-EAT-Lancet narratives can be expected to increasingly play out on other social media platforms. I wonder if Blue Sky, I should check this out later. I wonder if Blue Sky has any of that shit. While X is known to explicitly promote extremist narratives, misinformation can spread more subtly on other platforms. For example, TikTok formats blur fact and fiction, making misinformation harder to spot and more likely to be shared, while long-form videos on YouTube can dive deeper into narratives and so better seed the or entrench ideological opposition. Nick Norwitz, what I've learned, just to name a few. Traditional and social media also intersect and fuel each other, underscoring the importance of balanced and credible traditional media reporting. In a world riddled with disinformation and conspiracy theories, Just having the facts and scientific rigor is no longer enough to create positive changes for the planet and people. The evidence presented in this report should be a wake-up call for all scientists, journalists, and policymakers working at the intersection of food and climate. Food system transformation, starting with the recognition that reducing the consumption of production of animal products is essential for human health and the future of our planet, is under threat. Being aware of disinformation narratives and presenting their spread requires multi-pronged approaches, including improving public media literacy to identify mis and disinformation, promoting transparent scientific communication, and improving fact-checking in reporting on issues such as food, which is highly vulnerable to manipulation. True, almost nobody understands how to read nutrition science, right? Because it's so complex. So complex. There is also a need to bring back social media, content, moderation, and other measures to limit the amplification of false or misleading content. Ideally, this would be done through government regulations and high financial penalties for social media platforms, and that do not stop the spread of fake news and disinformation. Let me just DM something real quick. One sec. Yours. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Right. One of the most dangerous impacts of the spread of mis and disinformation and its ability to distract, delay, and derail climate action at a time when the stakes could not be higher. True. As we hurtle towards irreversible climate impacts, urgent, decisive actions is needed, including on food systems, which are responsible for 1/3 of greenhouse gas emissions. 1/3. That's crazy. And the single biggest... all right. Sorry. And the single biggest driver of the loss... I'm so sorry. Let me just silence that real quick. Yeah, that's good. That's good news. But I'm going to silence that so that you don't get scared about it. The single biggest driver of the loss of nature. A comprehensive survey of climate experts in 2024 concluded that global greenhouse gas emissions from livestock must be cut by 50%. That's what I said earlier, I think, by 2030 to align with the Paris Agreement. The impacts on health are also clear, with a 2021 study finding that a quarter of all deaths among adults globally are attributable to poor diets. The meat industry understands the power of online backlash against climate and health science to successfully distract, delay, and derail action which may affect its profits. At this critical moment, the scientific community and policymaker must be aware of the dark forces lurking behind the scenes, working overtime to maintain the status quo of high meat consumption. The industry has led these attacks before and is preparing to do it again in an environment where science and facts are already under attack. So fucking true. And what's up, Sib? Elmo, wait, it's about meat again. Yeah, it's the same report. It's about the meat propaganda, Sib. Do you not find this important? I'm not sure I agree with what governments do about climate change. They do fuck all. So I guess, good. This makes it even more urgent for media, politicians, and the public to look at who is really behind the social media headlines and what their affiliations are. Without doing this, we risk missing the significant opportunity to transform our food system and create a healthier and climate-safe future for us all. And just to, hey, what's up, Soldide? Just to reiterate something that you missed from earlier, Sib. Some of the propaganda was actually funded by governments, specifically the US government. And yeah, you know. So, want to do other topics though. No, this is not just meat. This is all animal production. This is not just meat. It talks a lot about meat because the blowback is like a lot of like comes from a lot of like carnivore dieter gurus and shit, right? So they mostly talk about meat. Also, I think colloquially when people talk about like animal products, they put them under the umbrella of meat. People, for instance, say, I'm a meat eater, right? To indicate that they eat all animal products, that they eat all the glandulars and all the flesh and all the secretions, right? Oh, thank you, appreciate. I was really fumbling the English language earlier, but thank you. So the rest is references, and this is how a report should look like, right? That's 6 pages, 5.5 pages of references. If anybody wants to read this report, there you go. Next week, we're going to delay the EAT-Lancet by however many weeks. We're just going to try to go through this. These are the meeting presentations at the Denver Summit or something like that, whatever it was called. And one of them is 1 hour long. Maybe we can skim it or something like that. But yeah, it is. I called it it's a secretion of the mammalian gland, I think. Mammalian lactations, yeah. Well, it is secreted. It is a matter of fact. All right, so go fight somewhere else. We're going to end this stream. Appreciate everybody for coming. We finished the Meat versus EAT-Lancet report. It was fascinating to me, at least. I hope it was somewhat interesting to you guys. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you next time.